Ciao, everyone. This is Eszter.
It's Alfred from 5,400 kilometers away from Eszter today.
Hope everyone is having a great day. I'm coming to you from Boston, Alfred from Sicily. It's the first time we're broadcasting like this. Strange, huh?
It sure is. And we have our new, do we have our new computer today too, Eszter?
We
Are
have
you
our
testing it out?
new computer on, and thanks for the generous support of many of our supporters. We're able to upgrade to a new computer so we can bring you better live streams, better videos. So excited about this.
And I understand the computer's pretty fast, so you're going to be able to zip right through things, right?
Zip, zip, zip. So last time we saw you, I was still in Sicily and I traveled home. And I have to tell you guys, the travel from Catania to Amsterdam to Boston was surprisingly smooth, Alfred, surprisingly smooth. I showed my COVID vaccination once. They had me fill out a few forms, an auto certification form, including, where I'm coming from, that I got tested or that I got vaccinated. And that's it. It was pretty smooth.
Was the auto certification in English or Italian?
They had it in multi languages, so it was pretty cool.
So which one did you use?
I used the French one.
Well, no, I mean, they had it in English. The only reason I'm saying that is some people, when they come back, so it was in English.
So on the way back, it's going to be a whole new experience. I'm going to have a travel locator, perhaps a green certificate. As you know, Alfred, they're discussing about having green certificates now. So we'll see how it goes. But let's talk a little bit about what's happening. Etna erupted again and left quite a mess for you, Alfred, right? And I wasn't there to clean up.
You know, Eszter, this was the largest ash cloud or grid cloud I've ever seen. I went shopping yesterday to Eurospin, and as I was loading the car up with my couple of bags that I purchased, all of a sudden I started to feel things all over my body, like sand. God. And I looked up, and it was this ginormous black cloud heading right to our house, right? It was going like from Etna to our house, Architrezza, right? So I went home. By the time I was home, driving, it was about 2 miles. The whole car was covered. It was like a snowstorm with black snow, right? So then I put the stuff away, and I came to check to see if there was any grit on the decks, the front or the back decks, and both of them were covered. You should see the lady downstairs. It's unbelievable how much stuff she got.
I think this is like the 50th eruption since February 16th. That's amazing. But thankfully, no one's hurt. On the flip side, though, towns, again, are complaining that this is costing a lot to clean up, Alfred. I saw a bunch of towns asking for major helps, including Trecastagni, Padara, Giara, because the people, the town workers have to clean this stuff up. It's dangerous driving on this. It can be slippery.
Not only that, but the town workers are the same guys that pick up the garbage and stuff. So the garbage is getting backed up. It hasn't been picked up in like 4 days, and people are more irritated about that.
And a bunch of
everybody knows the drill now. Everybody knows the drill. Yeah. You're not supposed to, if you have a scooter or a motorcycle, you can't drive it, and you can't go faster than 35 kilometers in the city. You just can't do it, or else you'll go into a tailspin or a skid. It's like driving. Snow driving in New England is a good practice for this, to be honest with you. So I haven't been too worried about it. So how's the weather over there in New England?
In Boston, it's been kind of cloudy and a little bit drizzly, but incredibly humid. But Alfred, I saw that the government is requesting like $5 million to help with the cleanup. So hopefully
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and
$5 million?
And I was reading that ash is considered a special it's a special category of trash. So you have to think about also where are you going to get rid of it. So it's a whole slew of things happening around that.
Let's see, 5 million that they're requesting for the government. That means 4 million for the politicians, 1 million for all the towns, and out of the towns they'll probably get $48. That's about it. That's pretty much how it works by the time it goes through all the rigmaroles. And you're right, because the grit was classified as a hazardous substance.
Yeah.
Which meant that when they put it out to the guys that collect it, they were charging them more by the barrel. So now I understand they've reclassified the grit. So, and it's lowered the price. So now all they have to do is pick it up. Now all they have to, I mean, I didn't know, but we had black basil yesterday. Our basil was all, I had to go,
really?
Rub them off leaf by leaf. I was worried about your lettuce and the basil and the celery, because it was sticking all over the place. I can just imagine if these
Alfred,
farmers that have these big farms,
the farmers are having a heck of a time, right? Because it's destroying some of the crops. So it's a major deal. Every time it rains ashes, so to speak, I go to the greengrocer and buy for example, the lettuce, right? And sometimes they don't power wash it, and there's a little bit of ash that comes in it. So it's a huge, huge problem. And I sent a note to our vineyard guy, Terra Constantino, to see how they're doing. And so far, it hasn't affected them so much up in Via Grande, but it's a major issue for many parts of the island around Mount Etna.
It also affects the livestock, more specifically, if there's too much grit on the sand, on the grass that the animals eat, especially pregnant animals, okay, they miscarry. So they're being very watchful on those who have livestock, especially the sheep up on the mountain, on the hills, all over the place, and the cattle, the cattle as well. I'm not that sure about pork, the pigs, because they're pigs. Pigs.
And thankfully, it's just mainly the effect is on the towns around Mount Etna, although the clouds can move to other parts of the area, right? So the main ashes that the ash rain, so to speak, only affects those areas, in the province of Messina and the province of Catania, but the clouds can move to other parts. Do you remember, Alfred, a few months ago, there was a picture in China. They found that some of the clouds from Etna went all the way over to China. There were pictures all over the newspapers how far it reached, but mainly it affects the province.
I heard that the carbon footprint of the CO2 emissions that every time she erupts, far exceeds. So I understand they're going to have a protest in Etna. They're going to march around the island. No, seriously, if you stop and think about it, how much pollution is just Etna causing? Forget about all the other volcanoes in the world, spewing up stuff 5, 6 miles. 14 miles in the atmosphere. Some guy uses a paper product and he gets in trouble. Forget Etna, she never gets in trouble. But,
so Al, the other big thing is this green certificate. Since Macron in France about a week ago, he said, if you want to go to restaurants, clubs, sporting events, and some other areas, you're going to have to show a green certificate, a green pass showing that you either got vaccinated or have a negative COVID. And within 24 hours, he almost got 1 million people signing up for vaccinations. And now the Italian government is talking about doing this, requiring that you show a green certificate to enter some restaurants, bars, discos, places like that. And already in Sicily and some other areas of Italy, people are companies and businesses are taking matters under their own hand, and there's 2 or 3 clubs in Sicily that require a green pass that you show when you go in, a bunch of restaurants. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Al?
I think the institutional resistance is just as bad as it is in the United States. I mean, frankly, if it's 55-45 or even 52-48 in Europe, there are countries that fundamentally do not trust vaccinations. As you know, we had some people from Greece. I had some people from Greece over here, and not one person in this person's town, I guess, has vaccination because there's a belief in certain parts of Greece, Romania, some of the Baltic countries, that there's a chip. There may be a chip, a microchip in the vaccine.
That's one
it's
of
a lot
many.
of hogwash, but it's a lot of hogwash. But people say, "Hey, look I'm breathing the air. There's the sun. I'm staying away from people, and I don't want." So that's,
Well, Alfred, I'm sorry.
It's a tough time right now.
Let me just add a little bit to that to give it a little bit of a different perspective, that the EU surpassed 50% of its population being vaccinated, which is further than other parts. But I want to say that in Sicily, the majority of my friends say, it's too hot. I'll wait till September. I don't want to stand in line. They'd rather go to the beach. They'd rather do other things. And the other thing, Alfred, that I think is a bigger deal in Sicily, to be quite honest with you, is the remote areas. Now, there's a lot of they're doing a lot of things to try to get these vaccines to the remote areas. We've talked about it here before. There's the vaccine tour where doctors are going to people's homes, even if they cannot leave. So that, I think, Alfred, is even a bigger issue, that trying to get to some of those remote areas, or you have some elderly that aren't able to go. So I think Europeans are far more accustomed to being vaccinated, so, but we'll see. It looks like the vaccination campaign in Sicily is speeding up a little bit.
Listen, here's what I know. You're vaccinated and I'm vaccinated. So there is a level of protection that you had and I had. But the most important thing, I think it is a psychological belief that where, we have a little bit more protection, and that's a good thing. So
let's say hello to some people, a lot of people on our chat. Rosario wants to know, why is garbage picking such an issue in Italy and Sicily? Every time I'm there, I see so much trash laying around. It's a big problem, Al.
Well, the thing about garbage is, let's not be confused about Sicilians being pigs. They're not. Maybe some are. But you have to understand that garbage is picked up every day. Okay, so sometimes what they do is they have designated spots to put the garbage, and the trucks just come right by and pick it up. So sometimes when you drive in and you see garbage, it happens to be garbage pickup day. And by the way, they do not use the big barrels or the rubber barrels that we have in the States. In order for them to pick it up, it has to be in a plastic bag or, a see-through bag. That's number one. Number two, some people are pigs. It's as simple as that. It's a cultural thing. It's, if the garbage is in my house, it's my problem. But if it's on the road, it's Rome's problem. And that's pretty much has been like that forever. So
and
there's really no excuse for it.
And fellow Sicilians always say to me, when I'm in the car with someone, look at that. They hate this whole situation as well. It's really a disgrace. And then you have situations like we have now, Alfred, where the town workers are cleaning up Etna ashes, and so they're not able to pick up.
They can't pick it up.
There's been one strike after another, right? Let's not forget about that. So that gets delayed. But
you brought up a good point, Eszter, about strikes, because when somebody goes on strike, when a trade goes on strike, it's not like a local strike; it's a national strike.
Right.
So when the bus drivers go on strike, for example, It's every bus driver in all of Italy. The country comes to a screeching halt. That's a
Yeah.
lot different as it is in the States. You know, in the States,
Right.
if the local union goes on strike, it's just for that area. But over here, forget it. I mean, because let's remember that the Italian Constitution is based on people's rights. Okay,
Hmm.
it's, I mean, that's what it's all about. The Constitution was founded on the rights of the people. Now that sounds great, but guess what? 67 governments have failed because of that since
Yeah.
World War II. 67 Italian governments have failed. They're in woeful financial shape. It's almost impossible to open up a business here for a small businessman. And the red tape that the people who are in business have to deal with, the nonsense that they have to deal with day after day after day,
Yeah.
and that's what you have. You have that's what Italy is all about right now. It's kind of like an economic, and it's too bad too because it's a living museum. We have great natural sources with the sun. We could probably be a world leader, for example, I don't know, in solar or water or
Solar
something like
or
that,
wind,
but we're
for
not.
sure. For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
but we're
On
not.
that note, let me just say a quick hello to all our viewers on Facebook and on YouTube. We're grateful that you are here. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube because we have almost 200, if not more, videos from and around Italy, Sicily. And I just published a video on Santo Stefano de Camastra, and I think Helen said she loved that episode, so thank you very much. Let me just take this question. Do the ash clouds from Etna affect Western Sicily? Thomas, I talked about a little bit about that earlier, that the clouds do tend to go where the wind goes, even going as far as China a few months ago. So it does affect it, but the ashes not necessarily.
We get over here the sand from the Sahara Desert.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll go outside and my car is covered in yellow or orange.
Yeah.
Okay, that orange sand is indigenous to the Sahara Desert, so the winds just blow it right across the strait and
That's
all the
right.
way up into Calabria. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a different dynamic here. Is one of the things that those people who are thinking about moving here have to understand is there are vast cultural differences, and some of the things we're talking. I mean, you don't have to worry about a volcano in Boston. You don't have to worry about the
You have
Sahara
other
Desert
things
in
to
Boston.
worry about.
Right, we have other things to worry about.
Now,
Right.
listen to this. I just love this mayor of Avila. He is such a hoot. Jody says the mayor of Avila has placed cameras in popular illegal trash spots and is posting the videos of people who are illegally dumping the trash. This guy is really innovative. I need to meet this guy.
They're doing that quite a bit. There's a whole initiative about doing that. There's a gal that does that from Today Misteri. She's on my Facebook. Anna, there's a gal that does it from Anna. They literally walk around their neighborhood. That's what it's going to take, I think. I think it's going to take
great.
local neighborhood enforcement. But then again, some people don't, they don't care. For example, now within the last 4 or 5 years, they actually have a pooper scooper law. Okay? Where if you take your animal for a walk and he poops,
That's
you have to pick it up. Okay?
It's good.
I'll tell you what, when I used to go for my daily walks in Architrezza and Archie Castello, I mean, there was dog doo-doo all over the place.
Yeah. You used to complain about that all the time.
You're not going to. Yeah, I used to complain about it all the time. And I used to see the guys. They used to come up in the morning with their coffee. The dogs would take a nice big dump, and he'd smile at me, he'd say ciao, and he'd just leave it there, right? And this is on the tourist areas. So finally now, one by one, I think the regional government began to clamp down, and now it's a €50 fine. And guess what? They even have those they look like mailboxes that you could dispose the poop, so to speak, in the little things, So that's like a big innovation as far as I'm concerned here. Little by little. Rome wasn't built in a day. So neither was it. Go ahead.
Carmen says the problem of ashes is humans' responsibility. Etna has been there for millenniums. Instead of being a resource, is an emergency. Boring Beshke keeps saying that. I love Boris Benschke. Alfred, he's the guy I keep telling you that I follow. He's the volcanist that has been studying and writing about Etna after every one of her explosions. So, and you know, he smiles, he thinks, you know, it's a great thing. Thankfully, it's not dangerous, right? It's not dangerous for humans right now. But he's keeping in a very close eye on Etna. And he's that's someone, I'm going to share that post again. That is someone that you should follow if you want to follow what Etna is doing. Boris Benschke, he's here in Sicily.
Thank God that the wind blows it east, okay? Because it goes right. Most of this grit goes into the Ionian Sea.
Yeah.
That's why along the coastline, the beach sand, especially up in the Messina area, from say Giardini Naxos up to Messina, it's almost like black. The sand is black, and guess what? It's kind of recycling itself a little bit, you know. I do have to tell you a story that nauseated me.
Yeah.
A little bit. You know what a defibrillator is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that if you have a heart attack, it goes like this, right?
Yeah.
So Catania got one, and yesterday they made a big deal about it. They installed a defibrillator at the what do you call it? The circle Piazza Europa here. Okay.
Yeah.
They made a big deal about it, right? It was stolen last night.
Ugh.
Okay, so the defibrillator lasted 1 day in Catania. Stop and think about that. Somebody stole a defibrillator after they made all this big things. I think it's disgusting that I read about things. Now the big theft issue, island-wide, is the theft of mufflers. Mufflers from the cars, automobile mufflers.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
Did you see that? Because there's a shortage of parts for cars. So they use what they call back in Lawrence midnight auto. That's what they call midnight auto. So over here you need a muffler, no problem. We'll get it for you. But mufflers and the cops now are catching a lot of people in the act of jacking cars up and underneath the cars unscrewing.
Between that and the drug bust. Crazy. All right, let me just answer this.
I'm glad that they're busting people for drugs.
No kidding.
Frankly, Esther, one more thing, okay? They should legalize marijuana here. Okay? Mm-hmm. It would get this country out of its economic catastrophe. Look how much revenue is generating in the United States, okay? A lot of money. All you have to do is tax it, right? Now, who's going to smoke it? I don't know. But I'll tell you one, a lot of people are smoking it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right? Or even for medical purposes, they should just legalize the damn stuff.
I agree. Al. Francesco said, when are you going to Marsala and Petrosino, where Marsala wine was started in my hometown? We're going to be starting again our ancestral home videos as soon as I go back to the States. But for now, our video library, Explore Sicily, we've gone all over the place. And also, if you'd like to sponsor a video, send me a little message.
So Esther, are you going to do Palermo province next?
So we have enough video for me to put in my library to put something on the province of Palermo, not the city of Palermo.
Yeah, province of Palermo,
yeah, if you go, there's already a video on the province of Catania, province of Syracuse, and province of Messina. Again, that's on our YouTube page. Leonard wants to know, did you video your Alitalia flights? How were they? And did you have to show your COVID documents entering the USA? Leonard, so I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the video, but just to sum it up, I flew KLM to Amsterdam, entering into the United States. The only thing I had to show was my good old USA passport. They did not ask for any type of certification. Of course, before I boarded, they did. So they probably have those records. But all in all, it was an incredibly smooth flight. The flights were not full. The airport, when I was there in Catania, was pretty full. But for a Sunday in July, it was far from being full, right? Because July, Sunday in Catania, usually it's packed. There were people there, it was not packed. Meanwhile, Amsterdam.
I don't know if I want to upset people.
Wait a second,
Eszter,
one second. Let me
excuse
just
me.
finish.
All right.
Meanwhile, in Amsterdam, on a Sunday, it wasn't that packed, but a few days later, there were more people there because one of my friends flew. Now, as with everything, it's some days it's busy, some days it's not. Sunday, typically a busier day. So all in all, it was a very good flight.
Eszter, speaking about Alitalia, by November, there'll be another airline replacing Alitalia. Alitalia has been replaced by another government-created entity. So if you call up Alitalia, someone just told me this today, and I haven't confirmed it, but they said, no, you have to wait now because we're not taking reservations right now towards the end of the year. I'm not sure about that, but I can sense that there's probably a kernel of truth to that if they're trying to make a switch over.
Eszter gives a very good point. You guys don't forget to hit the like on this video, the notification, so you're updated every time we post a video. So good to see everyone here, even if you're late. Better late than never, right, Alfred?
We have a great group of followers. I know, by the way, I'll toot your horn for you, but from what I understand, Eszter, you're doing a bang-up job, you and Stefania, on the conversational Italian stuff that you're doing. I understand that you're growing, and you've done what, three or four,
and we're starting
already?
the next set next.
Yeah,
Alfred, I gotta tell you, it's really a lot of fun.
I know. I mean, I listened to number 2 yesterday because I wanted to listen to your voice, Eszter. So I put it on.
You missed me.
And I missed you. And it's very, very, very good. I mean, what does it cost? It costs $4.99 a lesson, or something like that. Okay, and you can watch it as many times as you want.
Yep, it's your
and then you send a PDF to the people of the words that you've learned,
so they can follow along. And it's not just words, Alfred. The important thing is phrases, because people, not advanced. We're talking everyday stuff. So we go to the market.
All they have to do, and all people have to do is send you a message or an email to sign up.
Yep. Penny said, that was great, Al. Every year when we go to Saloniti, I clean up Via Galata. You can hear the garbage people say, La donna di America è qui adesso. The American woman is here now.
Well, the people from Sigonella, the servicemen in Sigonella, they always send out cleaning crew volunteers who go all over the place, and they do the same thing on the weekends. There's always 10 or 15 military personnel with garbage bags, because you always see their pictures in the paper. And also the students are getting more involved. You see a lot of Catania, University of Catania today got elevated in its national ranking. It's now near the top of being one of the best schools in all of Italy. Rosario Ferracci, I believe, my friend, Professor Ferracci, I believe is the type of instructor that is really forward-looking, and he's a great thinker. And he was on the, whatever it is, the evaluation panel that they had sent down. So I want to wish everybody from the University of Catania, good luck. That's great. And the other thing, if you don't mind, that I talk about, this Saturday, the Catania Elephants American football team are playing for the Division III championship against another undefeated team. And for those who are in the football world or the athletic world, you have to understand how this organization, which I was a part of, a very proud member, I'm still part of the family actually, is that the women The women's flag football team is now national champion. They have all different types of levels of playing participation, but this is a big one. This is a big one to play for the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I wish the Elephants, Catania, and all my friends on the Elephants, good luck on Saturday's game. And it'll be live streamed. So for those of you who are my Facebook fans, yeah.
And I'm sure you'll share it, right, Al?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to say thank you, Shivani. We love to hear your broadcast. Finally, somebody is making Sicily feel like home. So hooray for it all. Where are you from? I'm very curious. And we love hearing from people. Anne says, oh, Alfred, we know you miss her spot. Eszter, you're a sweetie. So are you, Alfred. And look,
Anne, can I say something to Anne?
Yes.
A few years ago when Eszter left, there was this thing going all over around the world called flat somebody. You remember that?
Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley, which was a picture that when you went, you were supposed to give it to somebody in another country. And it was like a picture, a humorous picture, Flat Stanley. And it made quite a buzz. So when Eszter left about 5 years ago, I created the Flat Eszter. Is that what it was? Flat Eszter?
Yeah. And you kept taking me everywhere. And
I kept on taking her everywhere, like the picture of Eszter. It wasn't a picture, it was a cartoon of Eszter having dinner, going out in the car, having a seatbelt on. And you would not believe how many Facebook fans got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was hilarious. Flat Eszter.
Hey, I want to read another email, and it's from Gabrielle. And she wrote to me, and I love that we have fans of all ages. She just graduated college not long ago, Alfred. She said, I fell in love with Sicily and promised myself that I would return. I have since graduated from college. That was 2015. And I am setting my sights on returning soon. I want to thank you for your passion and dedication to sharing the beauty of Sicily with the world. You bring so much joy and knowledge and have set a renewed appreciation in me for my heritage. That just gave me chills, Alfred. People of all ages are listening and watching our videos, and it's just awesome to hear something like that.
Eszter, I get at least 35 emails a week from people who watch our programming and they want to become citizens.
Yeah.
Except if I spent all my time answering emails and going back and forth with people, I wouldn't be able to earn a living, as you know, okay? Because when someone says, what is about citizenship, it's a very highly technical process, okay? And there's a lot of peaks and valleys. So if anybody is interested in being a citizen, you could email me or contact Eszter. However, there's a fee involved. It's like a lawyer's fee, okay? When you go to the United States and someone wants to have an immigration attorney, you don't sit down with an immigration attorney and talk hours and exchange emails. So if you'd like to retain us, or if you'd like to have a consultation with me, which if you retain us, you'll get credited back, by all means, we'll be able to do that. But we just cannot, because of the volume of people contacting us, we can't just answer them. So most of the times I don't, or else I'll say, hey, look, book a conversation, a consult with me. But you can reach me either through my website, alfredzappala.com, or youmeandsicily.com. But I would prefer alfredzappala.com. Eszter, you know why? Because at the same time, they could buy my books.
Oh, here we go. Shameless.
My 3 books. I'll tell you what. Last week.
Wait a sec.
Let me talk about my books. We got 10 orders last. Oh, there they are, right there. Look at that. My last 3 books for $19, shipped in the United States of America. We cannot ship them to Australia because it costs so much money. We cannot ship them to Canada. We can't ship them to the UK. However, you could buy the soft copy of The Reverse Immigrant through Amazon. If you go to Kindle or Amazon, they'll do print on demand. Or you could also they're on the download. You know, the little Kindle things there. They're $1.99 or something like that, $2.99 a download. So they've been selling crazily. They've been selling crazy. My daughter
Great.
Jennifer this week.
Yeah.
Right? Huh?
Yeah.
They're good
So,
stories. They're timeless stories, and people fall in love with Sicily. It's very simple. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of me writing the books.
well, the
Ciao,
same thing.
Francesco.
Oh, do we get to see him?
Dopo.
Tell him I
Wait a
said
minute. Hold
hello.
it. Francesco.
Salutami,
Francesco.
salutami, Francesco.
Can you
Francesco,
see
I
him?
miss you. Oh my God, I miss our neighbor.
Parlare domani sera. Perché Sergio viene qua lunedì.
You guys, I missed that guy. Before I left, he brought me a yellow rose plant. Hey, how's my yellow roses? How are my
great.
my celery? How's my lettuce?
Good. Your lettuce is
and my mint
getting a little
and my
bit.
rosemary.
Everything is doing great. Everything
Good.
is good. The watermelon I ate.
Good. What else?
We don't have watermelon.
What do you
we
mean?
don't have watermelon. We don't have watermelon. Hey, can I tell you what I had for, you've been, ever since you got home, one of the first questions out of your mouth is, what did you eat for dinner today? Because you've been worried about me. Because you loaded up the freezer with all this beautiful food for me. So why don't you say, Alfred, what did you have for dinner today?
Tell me.
All right. I had hot dogs and beans.
No, you didn't.
Mike Watt and Anne-Marie Watt gave us a can of Campbell's beans a few months ago, remember? So I was rummaging through the thing to find out, find something to eat, as most guys who are temporarily single do. And I found these Campbell's beans. And then I rummaged through the freezer and I found 2 hot dogs. So I had Campbell's beans and hot dogs. And guess what? I also found, and I don't know where the hell this thing came from, I found a bottle of Ken's blue cheese dressing.
Al,
I opened it.
Listen to me. I'm here in the United
States. It's unbelievable the things that are in our freaking closet.
Alfred, don't
you remember? Treasure chest and stuff.
Alfred, listen, I'm here in the United States of America, and I am like eating my salad going, oh, this has no flavor. They're so small. Really? So don't even talk to me about your American food. I'd give anything to have.
How much does a head of lettuce cost now? How much is a head of lettuce where you're at?
Well, a bunch of 3 can go from like $2.99 to $4.99. But in any case, I haven't really gone to the market. My mom said this, but I can't believe you're eating all that American food, and you have the best food in the world right at your disposal.
You know something, Esther? Campbell's beans and hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's a quintessential American thing. I haven't seen it, but I have to ask Mike to get me some more Campbell's beans. They were just unbelievable.
Remember
when you don't have Campbell's beans for years, and then all of a sudden you have your pork and beans, and then you have one, it was just unbelievable. I felt like I was back home in Lawrence. That was our Sunday meal, my family. Hot dogs and beans. In white bread, not in a hot dog roll, in the white American bread.
Yeah.
In those days, that's all we had. We didn't have all these new falutin things like hot dog rolls, hamburger rolls. Everything went in white bread in those days.
Maria wants to know, what are my destinations of interest while visiting? I just want to be with friends and family and visit with some special people and special friends, and that's it. It's going to fly by.
When are you coming back?
Huh? Coming back?
When are you coming?
You know when I'm coming back. I am loving to get a fresh salad in Sicily in September. That is all, Penny. I love it. That's all I eat, and there's so much stuff that you can put on it. So, all right. So,
I've been eating a lot of watermelon and cantaloupe.
What?
I've been eating a lot of watermelon and cantaloupe.
I don't want to hear this.
Now's the time for somebody who loves watermelon, right?
Yeah.
Between now and September 1st,
I don't even want to hear this.
It is a Sicilian nirvana, okay? Because you could cut a piece of watermelon and put it in your mouth, and it melts in your mouth. There's no such thing as a bad watermelon. There isn't. And the cantaloupe, the bouquet of the cantaloupe is
I can't
just
believe you
unbelievable.
haven't been having any peaches and plums too, Al.
The peaches, when you bite the peach, you get the juice all over your face. The peaches and the plums taste like peaches and plums used to taste in the United States many years ago, Eszter. Now they taste like, well, when I was in the States, they tasted like cardboard. The watermelon was tasteless. Okay?
Yeah.
Forget a tomato, except for the local farmers markets. But you buy a tomato in the United States, I don't know what those, they ought to be arrested for calling them tomatoes. So yes,
So David wants to know,
here is just
seed or seedless watermelon. They have both, and also they have they have the ginormous long watermelons that we're used to. They have the small red ones, and they have the small ones, the orange ones as well. Stefania, if you're here in the chat, I forgot the name of those watermelons on the way to Catania. On the 114 on the right, they sell those. Orange inside, it's orange, and it does have seeds, but I prefer the long ones. The green ones, the smaller ones, are not as tasty as the other ones. Now, Alfred, we were talking about pizza. Hello, are you going to have pizza now that pizza. I can't make you pizza? When are you going to get pizza?
Eszter, I'm going to go. Well, first of all, now I had to give myself a couple of days to recover from the trauma of you leaving. Okay. Not only that, but I've had, as you know, a broken water pipe over here that flooded our sink. I've had workers over here repairing the stuff that broke 7 months ago. So I've been busy with the workers. That said, I have a list I put together. And one of the first things I'm going to buy going out is I want to buy some Crispellis, because I've been eating them like once every 3 months.
Oh.
So tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to go buy some Crispellis. I'm going to get 12 of them. Not that I'm going to eat them all at once. But what I'll do is I'll get
6 ricotta
6 anchovy, 6 and 6, and I keep them in the refrigerator. And then what I do is I eat 3, and then the next day I'll eat another 3. I put them in the toaster oven for a couple of minutes. They taste great. So that's going to be one thing. I'm going to make my pizza, not make it. I'm going to make it at the store. I'm going to buy pizza at maybe Raitana's, or as you said, Vampilleri over here.
Yeah,
get a nice
order it out. I'll order it for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, with the summer, I've been having a lot of cold pasta salads, as you know. But I think next week I'm going to make the one that my mom used to make.
How did you make
potatoes, the what do you call those things? String beans.
Yeah.
And vinegar, salt, and pepper. And
now, what kind of pasta are you going to use for that, Al? The farfalla, the butterfly?
I use the butterfly for just the regular pasta salad. The farfalla is terrific. I really like that. And for my pasta, no matter what kind of sauce I have, I like to use the half rigatonis, the ones that have the lines on them. Why do some rigatoni have lines on them and some don't? Why do some penny have lines on them and some don't? That's a good question, Eszter. And the reason is the pastas with the lines, they hold the sauce much better than the regular rigatoni. So if you're going to buy rigatoni, and if you're going to buy a penne, check it out. See if you can find them with the lines, okay? And also, try the half rigatoni. It's just a regular rigatoni, except it's half the size. Those things are yummy too. So there's a lot of good. I'm not a spaghetti eater. I'll eat it. To be
for people, let's say in the United States and Canada, what brand would you suggest for them are some of the best pastas?
Are you talking about dry pasta? You're talking about dry pasta. The sine qua non in the United States for imported pasta is Di Cecco, in my view. I think Di Cecco is more expensive than the others. It's great. You have to watch out for Barilla. You have to make sure that the bag clearly says imported from Italy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're getting Barilla pasta that's actually made in Florida.
The United. Yeah.
And it's using American
Poyati, you wouldn't suggest that?
Pasta Poyati is it's generally not available in the United States. If you could find peyote,
Yeah.
that's great. By the way, I have a hot tip for you too. There's a huge shortage of beans, coffee beans, for the next crop. So
Yeah.
you can expect to see a jump in
And
coffee
the
prices,
prices.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the African coffees. So I have a sneaking suspicion that what people are going to start doing, these unscrupulous people that sell coffee at ridiculous prices, is they're going to begin to mix chicory in with the coffee at the manufacturing plant, and you'll never know about it. But coffee's a commodity. It's like olives. It's a commodity. It's a certain amount per kilo, and that's it. You either pay or you don't want to pay.
Yeah.
But we get a lot of our coffee beans. We get a lot of our coffee beans from Africa, which are very good normally. In the United States, we also, from South America, we import them from Colombia like the United States does, but everything is going up and up and up. Transport
Of course.
prices, by the way, from Europe to the United States have gone up something like 100%. Okay, so when you put something on a container, the prices have like
Of
tripled.
course.
Okay, so yeah, because there's inflation going on in the United States. Actually, it's kind of getting like a little bit ridiculous what it is, and it's affecting the food that's getting imported into the United States. That's something that we pay for here. For example, a liter of extra virgin olive oil, good quality, is about €7 or €8 a bottle. That's about $8 or $9 a bottle. You can't
They,
find those prices for good olive oil in the United States.
yeah.
You got to find junk for those prices. Yeah, so be
David
careful when you buy your olive oil.
David says,
Huh?
first thing I discovered when I visited Sicily, tomatoes uh, tasted so much
Tasted.
better along with other fruits and vegetables. In fact, David, that is something a lot of farmers, and I'm sure Peter Scapoletti, if he's here, he's a farmer, but a lot of the farmers in Sicily do that. They, plant some types of vegetables or fruits alongside tomatoes to give it sort of a different flavor. And the vineyard does that too. At the vineyard that we take people to, they plant, let's say, olive trees or kiwi or
Berry trees.
pomegranate or the chestnut tree, or even different types of fruits and vegetables strategically along the path of the vineyard to give it a little bit of a different flavor. Of course, the most important thing
Right.
that decides the flavorings, or one of, are the ashes from Etna, the sun, and of course, the sea breeze. But I remember Salvatore explaining that to me. So that's very, very
Eszter,
cool.
you know what a great meal to have, which I had yesterday. I was telling you about it seriously, on a real hot day, is I got the cherry tomatoes, the small ones, not the big ones. Okay, the ones from Pachino, which are the best small tomatoes around. I got about 8 of them. They're about as big as, I don't know, maybe a 50-cent piece. And I put them in a bowl, and I diced them. I cut them up nice and small, and then I drizzle. And then, of course, there's a little bit juicy there, right? And then I drizzle EVOO on top of it. That's extra virgin oil. I put salt. I put pepper, and I put oregano, a little dash of oregano in there. And I cover it, and I let it sit on a table for about an hour to get all the flavors together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get my bread, and I slice it, and I toast it I put a little bit of EVOO on that, and I toast it. And the bruschetta that I make, and I put a little bit of cheese, by the way, in
At
the
the end.
tomato too. At the end, that's a satisfying meal. That's a satisfying meal. Okay, on a hot day when you don't want to put you don't want to have like a big thing going. There's nothing like some good bruschetta with good tomatoes in the summertime.
And
okay?
good
In the wintertime,
oregano. And good
the
dry.
oregano makes it.
Yeah.
The oregano makes it, in my view, and I think the
Yeah.
salt and pepper. I mean, you have to taste it. The most important thing is you have to. De gustibus non estis putandum. Concerning taste, there is no quarrel. So you have to like the consistency, the taste. Too much salt, not enough salt.
Well, I like a
and
little
you're making it in
pepperoncino
small
in there, Al.
quantities.
I like a little
What?
pepperoncino. I like a little bit of.
Yes, I put in pepperoncino too, but and some
Yeah.
people they also will put in. I don't like to do it, but some people also put in balsamic, a little
Yeah.
balsamic. I
That's
don't,
what you do
with me,
sometimes.
yeah, I'm a purist. I just want to have my tomato, and that's it. And another great thing is and we had it for all spring, was the orange salad. Remember the orange
The
salads,
orange, the
fresh oranges,
fennel, that was great.
and the
That's a
onion,
very typical. That's a
orange,
very
fennel, and
typical
onion.
food. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
and you just
typical.
drizzle some EVOO on those, a
Yeah,
little salt and a little pepper. Boom.
boom.
Great change of pace
And then this
salad.
year I've been
Okay,
adding
cleanses your palate, huh?
and then this year I've been adding a little bit of feta cheese to give it a little bit of a extra. And don't forget the parsley, Alfred, the parsley.
Oh
Maria
yeah,
wants to
fresh
know
parsley.
any good Sicilian wine sold in the U.S. Yes, there's Barbera. And I'm going to go to a liquor store and check out some of them. But I know there was one other one. And Maria, you're talking about the brand name, right? So obviously the Nero de Avola. If you go to a wine store and ask them about that. But I know there are some off the top of my head. I can't, but I'm definitely going to go to a
Occupenti is
wine.
called Maria. She's from Revere,
How
right?
about Corvo is not Sicilian though.
Corvo is made in Sicily. Yes, it is, but
Then
it's
Corvo is a
industrially
good
made
one.
now. Yeah,
Hmm?
but wait a minute. Corvo got taken over. It's not. That's just like okay wine, but Occupenti is a very good one. And you know who has a good selection of Sicilian wines, Maria, in the Boston area is Cappy's Liquor Store. Cappy's Liquor Store
Where's
has a
that?
terrific one. Pardon me?
Where's
She's
that?
it's right by her on Route 1 in 1A, I believe, in Revere. On
Yeah.
the way to
I
the
mean,
airport, there's
right
a big
now,
Cappy's Liquor Store.
yeah, even here in Andover, there's a specialty vineyard here. And I know she went to Sicily and went to a lot of vineyards, and she carries a lot of Sicilian wines. I just haven't
Yeah,
been there in a couple of years.
the
But
smaller ones, the
Sicilian,
smaller little
yeah, just
producers are
one second.
good.
Yeah, the reputation of Sicilian wines is definitely growing in these days, which makes me so happy because the Sicilian wines, just like everything else Sicilian, you know what they do, Alfred? They produce all these great things. Sicily has all these great things. And what do? They don't promote it. They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like you always say, it's like having the Mona Lisa and keeping it in the closet. Sicilian wine is the same thing. It's a great little treasure that thankfully now the word is getting out about Sicilian wines.
There's a couple of other products that are made in Sicily that are actually getting good market penetration. And if you go to a good quality deli, okay,
Yeah.
the Sicilian spremuto di limone, the lemon juice and those little yellow things that you squirt, they have them from Sicily now, which is the same ones. I like those. Eszter doesn't like those, but I like those because I just like those. And the other thing is, you get the Trapani salt, sea salt, whether it's the fine or the coarse. That's also available in a lot of the good delis. Again, in New York, they're all over the place. I know in Arthur Avenue,
Yeah.
in New York City, there's a bazillion of them. In Frisco, there's a bazillion places that sell them in Frisco and also in Chicago on Michigan Avenue. So there's a lot of places that sell that stuff, but
Yeah.
you have to kind of know what products you like. So I've been giving you today. I talked about the Checo. We always talk about Asado, organic olive oil. We talk about Patana. We talk
Patana.
about Manfredi
Yeah.
Barbera's oil. Those are all terrific oils. They're all extra virgin oil. But again, you want to make sure that you look at the label carefully and it doesn't say product of the EU or product, if it says, Sicilian,
Right.
if you see the word Sicily on it, like Patana does, you're getting those Costa Petrano olives that are just, you just go to heaven when you eat those. Eszter,
Yeah.
you know this. They're just great. They're just great.
Tony says Grillo white Sicilian wine and Nero di Avola is available. Yes, those are Grillo and Insolia.
Yeah.
That's another one. And if you guys love all things Etna, the Etna wines, the Etna Rosso and the Etna Bianco are making their way over to the United States. And I know they're available. B says that Planeta and Donna Fogata is available. So those are great wines. And of course, we did a couple of episodes on vineyards. One of them is over at Lingua Glossa Gambini Vini. I love those guys. They're two brothers that have a, mafia last name, but they're so proud of it. At the beginning,
they're two of the nicest guys in the world.
I love the story, Alfred, about it, and I believe that they do export to the United States, but their story is great, right? Gambino is their mother's maiden name, and they said, okay, we're going to name the vineyard Gambino, but they got so much of a pushback from a lot of Americans because they went to New York a few times and tried to sell it, and people said, your last name Gambino, they're going, there's people aren't going to buy it. Well, guess what? They said, we're keeping our name, we're keeping the Gambino, and they said a lot of guests asked them about that, and now they used to be a little bit upset about it, but now guess what? They're all set with it, and they love their Gambino. So I think Gambino,
Esther,
great. One second, honey. Gambino is another great one. But if you go to a store, if you go to a wine store, a liquor store, ask for Etna wines. Ask for it.
Esther, before you hang up,
yeah.
You got up to get the T-shirts, but you never showed them to the people. Did you get the T-shirt?
We didn't talk about the T-shirts. We've got a limited edition, of You, Me, and Sicily T-shirts, female.
Wait a minute, that's the wrong T-shirt. You held up the wrong T-shirt.
What do you mean? These are the colors.
There you go. Yeah.
What do you mean the wrong T-shirt? It's the same T-shirt, honey. And here is the red one, limited amount for male and female. So make sure you message me.
Hello. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I lost you for a second. How much are they?
I think we're doing $18.99. That includes shipping, because these are the final ones.
But you don't have that many, am I correct?
Not that many.
I mean, you don't have a lot of them, right?
Yeah, very limited.
So if you're interested in a T-shirt, and they're excellent quality too, by the way.
Yeah.
Send Eszter a message, and I think also she may have 3 or 4 Trinacries. We actually forgot that we had 3 or 4 in the States. If you're interested in a silver Trinacria, and she's been sending out stuff. She'll be finishing off this week. If you want a Trinacria, we may have a few left.
And for those who don't know what a Trinacria is, there it is. Symbol of Sicily. Someone asked about sparkling wine. Sparkling wine. So I started this year to have sparkling wine. It is so refreshing and so good. And it says in the bottle, frizzante. It's very, very delicious. There's one label that I love to get, and it's like $2.99 a bottle. The other thing is the Prosecco. Hello. Love the Prosecco here in Sicily. It's very interesting. Champagne is really not sold in supermarkets, you guys. Some restaurants may have the little bottles, or specialty hotels will probably have it, but Prosecco, that's where it is for me.
Champagne by European law has to be made in the Champagne section of France, Eszter. That's why.
Right, Alfred.
Italians cannot make champagne and call it champagne. That's a protected DOC.
I know, but they can sell it. They can sell it. I'm talking about selling, sweetie pie. Okay.
I'm not that sure that Italians going to do champagne.
No,
they're going to do Prosecco.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They don't sell it in supermarkets. Yeah. That's exactly what I said. Okay, we have John Lamusa and Steve Zala that would like shirts. Message me, you guys.
Yeah, because you only have about 10 left, so you might as well just get rid of them today. So that's one less thing you have to deal with. And by the way, Eszter, I beg you, I'm on my hands and knees. Okay, can you see me on my hands and knees begging? Right?
Yeah.
I need to get a bottle of Old Spice.
Stop it
That
right
refreshing
now.
cheap stuff that my dad used to wear. I
Stop
beg
it.
you to bring me one back. I beg you. How about Ken's what was the blue cheese? That's
On
unbelievable.
that
I haven't had
note,
blue
make
cheese
sure you
resin in
hit the like
years.
button. Make sure you hit the like button, share this video with a friend, and we hope to
This
see
was
you
a
on
fun one
Sunday
today.
on Yumi and
Esther,
Sicily.
you look terrific you
Ciao.
look terrific, man. I love you. Mwah! Thanks, people. Ciao.
Ciao.